Hello everyone and welcome back to Turtle Torture Time. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Dan.
Dan, what pizza company is endorsing our show today, sir?
Oh, I totally forgot about that.
Put you on the
today
spot.
It's
You were
going
real
to be
on every
show.
show.
Papa Gino's, and apparently Captain Logan said that they don't have Papa Gino's in his neck of the woods in the United States. I live in New England, where there's Papa Gino's like on every third block around here. It's like Dunkin' Donuts. You guys have those too?
Yeah.
Or okay. So we Dunkin' Donuts was a thing that was invented here, so there's like 3 in my town alone. And,
okay.
And I live in like a pretty small town in New Hampshire. I don't know what it's like with you and Dunkin' Donuts there, but Papa Gino's is kind of the pizza joint equivalent to that. They're everywhere.
I mean, I live in a big city, so
we
do have at least 4 or 5 or more Dunkin' Donuts, between the different suburbs in Kansas City. But I think that's a national chain. Papa Gino's I'd never heard of before. We have a Papa Kino's. That's even another much smaller chain of pizza places.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I've never heard of that.
And then obviously Papa John's is nationwide.
That's true, yeah. And Papa John's is kind of sparse around me. Like there's one in Boston that's kind of like the closest one to me, and some other ones in Massachusetts, I'm sure. But there aren't really Papa John's in New Hampshire, which is weird. They haven't made their way up here.
That's probably because there's a Papa What's-A-Who's It Something Else that more people are going to and eating pizza from. Yeah. No, I'm just saying. No, I know what you said. I'm just saying there's so many Papa What's-A-Who's It's with pizza places. Yeah. There's so many of them. So anyway.
Papas.
So we would like to thank Papa Gino's for not consenting at all to being mentioned on this broadcast. And now we are going to go on to the final episode of the 5-part introductory episode, the 5-part pilot of Ninja Turtles Next Mutation. And Dan, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Are you ready, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right,
I am ready.
Time for some more turtle torture. Everybody, make sure to grab your DVDs if you own this, or go to Netflix and get it past the menus and to timestamp 0 and get ready to press play when I say now. Here we go, Dan. Everybody, please press play right now.
Mysterious fog.
Yeah, Leonardo is someplace here. He got entrapped. Leonardo entrapment.
Yeah, maybe this is where he gets brainwashed by the Foot Clan, and they took inspiration from this.
No, I don't think. That's what's going to happen here. I think he's looking more at what he used to be and misses being a real turtle and not an animatronic nightmare.
And he's having nightmares about Bowser now.
What are you talking about?
He's swinging his sword at no one.
What are you talking about? That is the much less generically named Dragon Lord.
A new way.
Oh, he was having a dream. Man, these super abrupt intros.
Yes.
Teasers are ridiculous. So I discovered this earlier today. I didn't discover this. Somebody left a comment on our first episode and mentioned that this actually had a different intro song when it aired, and I had forgotten that because I watched this once or twice when it aired, and I went back and watched that, and that brought back memories a little bit, and I was like. And it's weird because usually that happens because of rights reasons. I can't imagine why they wouldn't have been able to use that song.
Yeah, that is really weird.
Made for this show. I don't know what happened there. I don't think
whoever owns the copyrights to that is just like, we got to protect this. It's such a valuable song.
But it's weird because it's not like the Birds of Prey thing where it's a song written by someone that's outside of this. It's like there were 4 turtles, now there's a 5th turtle. Like it's just about the show. I don't know how that happens.
Maybe that person blew up. I mean, I don't know what the kids are listening to these days.
That reminds me, by the way, of a point I wanted to make from earlier that I totally forgot about, Dan, which is, of course, we have to have a 5th turtle, not just because you need a girl in here, but because it's a tokusatsu thing. It's like Power Rangers. We got to have 5. 4 is too few. We must have 5.
Oh, is that a thing with those kind of shows? There's always 5 characters?
There's often 5, and I mean, there are Power Ranger seasons where we start with less, where we start with 3. We usually catch up to at least 5, and then there's almost always an obligatory 6th Ranger. But a lot of these things, and just, I don't know, kids shows about teams in general tend to have 5. Captain Planet had 5. For whatever reason, 5 seems to often be the magic number.
Well, 5 is a good number. I like it. Did you see his throne wobbling there in the background?
Yes, it's great. It looks like it's made out of paper mache or cardboard, like the throne we made for Spawn Year.
Oh, that's beautiful.
His tiny dragon puppet guy is named Wick.
John Wick.
Yeah, that's John Wick, the puppet dragon.
This is actually the origin story of John Wick, this show.
Raphael's painting himself. Okay. So at least some of these characters have personal interests, you know? Like Donatello likes spiders, Leonardo likes pogo sticks. Is that what we're doing? Are we all at once trying to introduce just random quirky, like through a D20 to get whatever their interests are in here?
I think we have to give credit where credit is due. Michelangelo has been obsessed with gross food combos since episode 1. We just saw him put ketchup on popcorn. And he's been doing that since the first episode.
Dan. That is a standard Michelangelo thing going all the way back to 87.
I know, it's consistent with the source material. It's great. This is a great adaptation.
You know, we were talking about the number 5. Have you watched any of the 2012 series, the cartoon?
I've watched some of it. I'm not like an avid follower of it, and I haven't watched like any of the episodes in sequence. Like I've watched some here and there, and I liked what I've watched of it. I've just never, continued to watch more of it.
It's legitimately quite good and a really
That's what I've heard, yeah.
I think it's for the most part, a really good blend of. I mean, I don't want to say it's serious, but it's a kid show that isn't like all over the place and is actually about stuff. Cool. Isn't totally incoherent like the 87 show often was. But to the point of 5 turtles, they have April in that show with a number 5 on her shirt, and they pretend like she's the 5th turtle sometimes.
Yeah, I kind of got that feeling that they were doing the sort of thing they did in the TMNT movie where she's like, got ninja skills and helps them fight and stuff like that, which I always thought was cool. And there's like a romantic thing with her and Donatello in that show from the episodes that I watched that was like established and they liked each other, or he liked her.
Yeah, I'm sure they never pay that off or do anything with it. I'm not sure though, because I mean it's had 5 seasons, so.
Are they canceling that show soon, or am I wrong about that?
Yeah, but I think it's just ending. I think they're being smart and they're just giving it a definitive,
Oh, cool.
ending.
Yeah, I was really skeptical about that show when it first started because of like the animation style and like the way they were doing the sort of over the top anime emoting. But what I watched of it, I did enjoy. It was cool.
I had to get used to that. I mean, I didn't care for that either, but it was a stylistic choice that ultimately doesn't ruin it or anything. It takes you out the first few times you see it, especially if you're not an anime guy and you're not used to that kind of thing in your comedy.
Yeah, exactly. Me and you both aren't anime guys, so we're anime phobic in that way, I suppose.
Yeah, and I again, it's a thing that I had to adjust to. I got used to it. It's part of the packaging of that show, and it doesn't intrude too. It seems like they have a quota, and they don't do it too often. So that's good. But anyway, so this show.
I love the random like shots of the city we have to get to like establish where the turtles are, even though like we know where they are every time. It's very strange.
Yeah, and it's often into like different kinds of places, so it doesn't even look like they're always inside of the same place. They just shoot some random part of the city, and it's also always in like we've said before, like they're using different video quality, so it looks like someone else shot it.
It's almost as if when they return from a commercial break, they don't expect that the audience has been paying attention, or they're thinking that like people are just tuning in now, and they're like establishing this takes place in a city.
So here's our umpteenth time with the stock footage of Raphael getting on his motorcycle again, and we are really padding out this episode with this vision quest thing Leonardo is doing. So far we've seen it twice, and it's been the same thing every time. It's just he sees a regular turtle walking, and everything's in slow motion and kind of trippy, and then he says, "A new way." We've done it twice. It's revealed nothing more than we got the first time, the second time we've seen it.
I don't know if you noticed that during the stock footage shot, there was one of them that we hadn't gotten before, and you could see the eye holes in Raphael's actor's costume from above.
They should stop trying to improve on that and just leave it the way it was before, I think. I think the Ninja Turtles need a yard sale, Dan.
I think they do too. I would imagine that Michelangelo would be the hoarder of them. He would be the one that's pressuring them to keep all that crap there.
That's usually the case, but the difference is this time their lair is more the size of a closet, of like a walk-in closet, than usual. I still feel really stupid for even making the suggestion first episode out that maybe it's the same set from Ninja Turtles 2. Clearly, they've just gone into like somebody's garage and redressed it.
To be fair, the reconstruction of like the actual subway car I think looks pretty good, but everything around it looks really cheap.
It's too small, is part of it. And I mean, and also it's too small, and there are 6 people living there. Like, the whole reason, or part of the reason anyway, besides the fact that it just looks really cool, that the subway car set was a good idea in the first place, was because it's so spacious. And you got all those people living there.
Like, when they came down the stairs in the second movie and were, like, kind of looking at it, it's just kind of like, they're like, wow, this is awesome. Like, they were in awe when they came down or was that in the first one? I don't remember off the top of my head at the moment. It's been a while since I watched those movies.
A legendary... Or are we talking about just going down into the subway car set?
Yeah, for the first time.
No, that's in 2.
Okay.
Because remember, they're looking for a home because they've been living with April in her tiny apartment.
Right, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's where that comes from. But anyway, so look, a legendary Leonardo Raphael fight, Dan. You gotta have one of those in every Ninja Turtles thing. It's
and
legendary.
They're fighting with bow staffs, which is like the most disappointing thing ever. Why?
Well, see, I thought they were just training, but they're arguing while they're training. So I don't know. I guess they're just training, but they're always pissed at each other.
This is almost as good as the TMNT fight, right?
Yeah, it's up there, man. See, do you notice that? And we're inconsistent with it. You notice that occasionally we will flash the screen just to try to make this feel more action, like higher class action than it really is. Like there's more going on.
Yeah, it's interesting. Whenever they flash them actually in action, the puppet mouths are just kind of hanging open, and you can see the actors' eyes. And then when they cut to them talking, they look way better. I wonder if they have like action suits and ones for the dialogue that look better.
I bet they do. I bet you're absolutely right.
Because it looked that way to me, but I wasn't sure.
You're right, because that looks. I mean, unless we're just imagining things, or the show is just making us dumb. It does kind of look like just guys in sparring versions.
Yeah, exactly. And you can see like their eyes, the eye holes are located like at the base of their snouts, like right below where the mask is. Next time they're doing anything action-packed, watch.
Dragon Lord to the aquarium. If I were this writing staff, I would try to make his dialogue differentiated a little bit from everybody else's. Like, give him his own voice, right?
Yeah.
Because he's saying a lot of really generic things, and it's just your kind of really standard villain posturing. But he also sounds too much like the Ninja Turtles and everybody else on the screen, minus all the stupid like turtleification, lines and made up slang and regular slang,
Turtlelicious.
Turtle Nova, Chevy Nova. White chi. The guy have things with white chi.
Yeah, so
But this has no
never
chi.
Explained like chi in relation to her powers, did they?
Well, to be fair, she's saying she doesn't really know how it works either.
Yeah.
Or is she just saying she doesn't know how the bug thing works? Maybe it's just the bug. Yeah, that's what it is.
I think that's what it was, yeah.
Her magic comes from white chi, and I guess there's black chi, so it's like the Force. There's like...
Yeah, and it's probably related to the... I don't know if that's an actual thing, because I don't know much about
No, we should be
Shinobi
careful,
at all.
and we don't want to talk out of both sides of our face with that stuff because I don't know anything about that, but it does sound silly.
Yeah, but I would imagine like they're trying to do that because of the yin yang symbol she's got all over the black and the white thing.
At least they're trying to make that mean something as opposed to just having it because it's a popular 90s symbol that's on everything right then.
Yeah. I love more stock footage.
And some of the same we've seen already. I feel like, their Humvee is basically their Megazord in this. It's sad but true. Because we have to have that stock footage every time. I was just gonna say, I feel like Venus is, as we've said before, kind of the one place where they had a couple of maybe okay ideas. If there's any inspiration at all whatsoever, it's in that character. And I'm with you, man. I still think that Tom Waltz could grab that character and do something interesting with her.
I think so too. And
yeah, I think you'd have to change her name though. That's one of the one characters I don't know that you could get away with calling her Venus de Milo. It's really a dumb name. And it's like we couldn't come up with it. We couldn't come up with any female Renaissance painters, so we had to go to we haven't talked about this yet. So we had to go to a piece of art from around that period. And I don't know. It's missing its arms. Why would you want that name? Like it's. And if I were going to do it, I would make it really prophetic, man. I would go all the way. I would have Venus de Milo get introduced, and then she is destined to lose both arms.
That would be gruesome, but also kind of hilarious at the same time.
To the aquarium.
So they keep ending up at places where there would be turtles in this pilot. They were at the zoo earlier, now they're at the aquarium. That's
a good point. Do you think we'll have a sign that you would usually put outside of a bistro that says turtles this way again?
Probably.
We're gonna have another one of those.
Venus's mask is the same color as the wall painting in here.
That's something else we haven't talked about, and something that Eric complained about when we tried to record this before, and unfortunately he hasn't been able to be here with us for these. But her mask is not a different color than one of the other turtles. It's a light blue, but they seem to be afraid of pink. And I don't know what you think about that. Like for this, that's not going too far, I don't think. Especially given that it's. I mean, like, is it too girly? Oh, she's got to be pink. She's. I don't know. We have a pink ranger in almost every Power Ranger show. Like,
I don't think so. I mean, they could have made her any other color. I mean, they didn't have to use pink. I mean, there's so many other colors they could have used, like yellow. I mean, you know.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, and I think yellow would have been a better choice.
I think so too.
Excuse me, Dragon Lord?
I can't think of any reason not to go for yellow. So I will go on record to say I don't hate Dragon Lord's look just as a
he actually
Power
looks pretty
Rangers
cool.
type monster. I think he's pretty cool. And even a thing that would fit okay in a Ninja Turtles. Like I said, I just mean like the way the costume is built for this kind of show. I think he looks fine. My issue with him is how he's lit. He could look scarier if you just had him in shadow more often, and if you gave him a darker skin tone. I think he's too light. I would have gone with a more forest green, I think.
Yeah, I think it would have been kind of interesting to keep him as the shadowy, manipulative villain in the background for a little while before you put him front and center and, have him actually commanding his minions and stuff like that.
Yeah, they don't give him any sense of gravitas, and he could have more of a Lord Zed kind of thing.
I mean, we kind of went into the show knowing that he was going to be pathetic because it's this show.
Yeah.
The reputation it has, but they kind of tried to do that, I guess, at first with like when he was showing up in the mirror and stuff, but we're not even done with the pilot and he's already doing this stuff.
Yeah, and again, like I don't think it's awful that we're already seeing him, and of course he's got his own scenes too. So like, if you did that, you'd have to kind of rewrite that. But you're right. If you made him more like the Shredder in the first movie, where even in his own scenes, we can seal him. We don't see him much. That would be great. But you also shouldn't put him in what is essentially a Shredder costume.
Yeah, exactly.
And B, again, let the costume work for you. Like I think you could shoot that suit in such a way where it would feel a little bit more sinister looking.
I think so too.
But you have to play to its strengths because it clearly has some weaknesses.
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking at these suits here, and I don't know what it is. Whenever they're in action, I think I'm right that they have two different suits because they just look worse.
I think you have to be right about that. Yeah.
And their mouths are all just hanging open. Would it have been hard to make like action masks with closed mouths?
Yeah, because we wouldn't be making fun of it as much if they always had their mouths closed while they were fighting, or just like a mid version.
Right.
And then if you have to have one-liners, just make sure that you're shooting behind when they say them.
Exactly. So
they're doing some of that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just we could be, even with the material we have, we could be smarter about the way we're shooting it, and we could be more creative, I think.
Why do you think they changed Michelangelo's weapons in this?
That's obligatory. You gotta say that. I love being a turtle. Oh, it's cool that the Dragon Lord's eyes close up and down as massively as they do. That's good.
Yeah, they do. That is cool.
Yeah, that's great. Anyway, I'm sorry. I don't know why they changed it. I feel like we had this conversation because didn't we talk about how we thought maybe it was like another kind of weapon that we just weren't real familiar with? But as far as why they changed it, I'm not sure.
That was my question. Like, I could see, like, with Leonardo and Raphael changing the weapons if you're making a kid's show and you want to have them, like, hit bad guys and not, like, slice them in half. In the case of Leonardo, if you have a real sword and you, like, actually use it properly, you can, like, do some serious damage to people. But, like, nunchucks aren't even really effective weapons. They just use them to intimidate people.
Didn't they try to fight him earlier and they did that kind of Shredder roof fight thing and he was...
They did,
they
yeah.
were no match for him whatsoever. I don't know how they beat him so easily here, and he's blowing smoke out of his breath right now as I guess his smoke bomb as he's disappearing, which is
he's ninja vanishing.
But can we all remember that he had? That's all in the beginning. That he had.
In case you didn't know there was going to be more of the show, this is all in the beginning.
He had fire breath. Why isn't he using that? Oh, and everyone's moving in slow motion now.
Now we're flashing back to previously in the pilot.
Yeah. It's been so long, Dan. It's been 5 episodes. I can't remember all this stuff.
Do you think this is like the thing they put at the end of like the VHS that they cut this together as a movie for or something?
That's a really good question. For a second, I thought it was within the narrative where like Leonardo was like thinking all of no. I think that is what's going on here. This is part of the episode. Yeah, that was part of the episode because that was the payoff of the New Way nonsense. That's what that was.
So we just have to sum up the theme and message of the show at the end for everyone to understand.
What is it that now we're cool with magic and stuff, and like we're gonna try new disciplines? Is that all that's about, or like we'll work with other people that we haven't worked with, or I don't
yeah, I have no idea.
I'm gonna try not to overthink that, Dan. Well, anyway, Dan, we made it through the pilot.
We did,
so
and
that's exciting. Only 24 more of these left to 23
plus the Power Ranger show.
Yes, which I think we'll do. I think we'll do next, Dan. I think that'll be the next thing we do.
Oh, okay, cool, awesome.
So everybody look forward to that. That'll be the next Turtle Torture time, and then we'll get right back into Ninja Turtles Next Mutation. I don't want to make anybody have to wait too long for more of this show.
I can't wait to see what episode 6 is because it's called The Staff of Boo Key. So it'll be interesting to see what that's all about. Isn't
that the nonsense syllable that they're singing in the opener?
Maybe.
I thought that's what it said in the subtitles, Dan. We'll have to look at that next time.
Yeah, we'll have to. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I guess they were, maybe it wasn't nonsense syllables. They were actually thinking, like they took it from something from the script. I don't know. I have no idea. Anyway.
Very subtle foreshadowing, if that's the case.
Folks, thanks so much for listening. We sure appreciate it. And go read or watch something that might help you get your brain cells back. I am Captain Logan.
And I'm Dan. Maybe we should do reading recommendations at the end of all of these to have people recover.
It's a really good idea. I would have a hard time recommending things that people don't already know about or that I haven't been reviewing and things lately, because usually whatever I'm looking at is something I'm going to be reviewing. But I am finally reading through Stephen King's Misery right now. I'm a big fan of that movie.
Nice.
And I've never actually read the novels, so if we have to do reading recommendations, that's my recommendation.
All right, cool. Let's see, books that I have here.
Dan, quit throwing out ideas when you don't even have a plan.
That's the beauty of this show. I think that's why people love it. I was reading The Prince by Machiavelli recently, so I will suggest that if you want to learn about power politics and you're also interested in Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation.
It just fits like a glove. Thanks again for listening, folks. We'll see you next time.
Bye.